Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Pillars of Eternity. This time we are going to do Hermit of the Hadret House. I put this quest off, as mentioned in quite a few episodes before, because I would have to keep coming back and forth in order to get quest updates. But after, you don't really have to go talk to her until you just pretty much get champion reputation with either Knight's Crucible, House Dominos, or the Dozens. In this case, I chose Knight's Crucible because they're, you know, just seemed the best faction to choose. Anyways, and you also need to speak to that faction's leader to require assistance to speak with the Duke, which will be a later on part of the quest. So, when you are ready to do this quest, you will need to go to the Hadret House, found in Brackenbury of Defiance Bay. I find it better to kind of do this quest all at once, because if you do it kind of back and forth, it just kind of seems lame. As much reading as there is in this game, it's kind of best to just do all the reading at once so you can kind of stay with the story as much as possible. And particularly this one, there is going to be a lot of dialogue. As a matter of fact, most of this, what you're going to see, has dialogue. Here's Lady Webb. Everybody else in here doesn't provide anything else. I'm not going to any of these. However,
I'll give it a try, at least.
Serious?
As requested.
I'm not picking up any of this stuff yet, but I will do so later. Oh, and the man with the mask, the old man.
So, the messenger conveyed my summons. A miracle that would make the reincarnation of Aothis look like a child's cantrip, surely. It doesn't draw the most inspired minds, messaging. They failed me so many times of late.
So I'm going to kind of go through these a little bit faster than the way they taught. But the old man that I mentioned, his name will be revealed. A little bit more of his history will be revealed. And her history.
And this fiasco in the sanitarium that you seem to have gotten yourself into the middle of. What in blazes possessed you to stir that net? Not just any someone, though. You're not the only one with an interest in their recent activities. I've lost 4 ciphers this year.
She's a cipher. She's a particularly powerful cipher, too.
The gods are cruel, I'm afraid. The man you seek is Theos Ix Arcanon, Grand Master of the Leaden Key. Because you have seen his face, and that makes it a simple matter for me to see it. You even happened to catch him in a ceremony more than most, though very few would know so much as his name. And there is no way of knowing how much of what I've read is true. The Leaden Key dates back more than what scraps of evidence exist suggests that he has died many times, only to be reborn each time exactly the same man. Awakened during... That may also explain another supposed gift of his. His body is no boundary to his soul, and he is known to take possession of others, if their souls are... He is also not one to show himself in any but their most critical matters. If he has directly involved himself in whatever the same way I come by all my knowledge. Exhaustive research, spying, precious little, I'm afraid. You may know much of it already. No one... Despite that, they are very good at what they do, owing much to their founder, who will take matters into his own hands when necessary. And he does not fail.
I'm just going to kind of pause for a moment here to just kind of elaborate this Taoist guy. She knows him more than anybody, so it's quite obvious they've had some kind of relationship in the past, whether it has been intimate or not. Particularly, she knows his secrets too, being as a cipher as she is. And she knows that he can somehow reattach his soul to himself and others, even if he's died, without any penalty. Now, recently, in what was it? Whatever the main quest was. I'll tell you what quest it was in Heritage Hills, where we had to turn off that machine. We have learned recently by completing that quest that if a soul is taken away from its body and if it's reattached, then the body kind of becomes undead. The soul is still there, but it's not exactly the same as it used to be. But this guy, he has learned a secret to be able to do and manipulate this power whenever he needs to.
Keep me informed. The leaden key has been busy lately, and that is distressing news. Whatever it is they're up to, figuring it out will be of great use to both. If you find your trail has run cold, come to me with whatever you have. There is much I may be able to do for you.
Okay, now at this point, this is where you speak to her the first time, and then you can go complete the task given from the leaden key at the Wodoka Temple meeting. So I'll tell you.
Try your best not to die out.
I'll tell you. See, we've got this quest update. The quest we needed to complete are through Death's Gate, Undying Heritage, and the Man Who Waits. We get these 3 quests from going to this meeting. So all these have been done. All the other quests, they don't really mean anything, on the exception of quest completion with a faction. You need to be able to complete as much as possible to get that champion status. Alright, so we've already done that.
How fares your search?
You gonna tell her what happened?
Well, let's hear it.
He was messing around the sanitarium.
Forgive me. It is unlike Theos to leave witness. He did not aid you as you'd hoped, I take it? Well, take heart. This news of yours makes sense, of course. To dabble in animancy is to puzzle over the secrets of the gods.
Man, she talks a lot.
This would not be the leaden key's first action against it. But if this is connected to their other activities, we may be in for something on a much larger scale. If we can learn more about their goals and methods, perhaps we can get the palace behind us. With Avar's support, this is troubling. That civilization seems to have known more. That isn't enough to take to the Duke, but we're close. Avar Wolfgren
and this is where we learn
man. He will want to know everything possible
the Leaden Key
before
is
being
manipulating a
moved
group
to
of
action.
Ingwithian machines to span this country, and it seems to be causing a Hollowborn epidemic.
I had feared they might be involved in Widewind's legacy. The Leaden Key's conspiracy is clear now. They have used Engwithan technology. I, for one, would enjoy seeing their little scheme fouled up at the last moment. Our Duke must hear what you have. However, certain groups have been invited to attend. You might get in with one of them if you aren't above a little pandering. There are delegations from the Knights of the Crucible, the Dozens, and from House Domenel. If you can gain the support of one of those groups, that may be your best way in.
These are the 3
See what
factions I
you
mentioned
can
earlier
arrange.
that you need to get their support from.
What of them? We would only do that as a last
We'll get this extra
It would be
dialogue out of
best if people didn't. Avar is many things to many. The man behind the tale may not be. What of them?
Okay. Now, this is going to be very short because I've already completed the last quest of Knight's Crucible. So pretty much all I've got to do is return to Commander Cleaver and get his support. So I've managed to make this quest very very, very linear, linear instead of going back and forth, doing tons of editing, more so making it more difficult for you to watch. It's also quite a surprise that how familiar you may be with the Dominels if you've done any of their quests. But when they do that public meeting, they're very different. They're I don't know. It kind of remind it like I said before. They remind me of the Lannisters from the Lannister family, or House Lannister family, particularly Cersei Lannister. Well, whatever her name is now, because she, like in public, she's very formal, but private life she may be very vicious. So the Dominels, again, in private life, very vicious, very deceptive, but in public, very formal, very professional. Understand that they're attending.
Indeed. Duke Avar looked.
And there we go.
Hey.
So just keep in mind when they're talking about animancy. Contemplate your thoughts on what you conclude about animancy. Up until this point of the game, has it done any good for humanity or society? Wayward's legacy? Has it done anything? Just remember that, because you will need to make a decision. I mean, it's quite obvious you're going to have to make a decision, because that's pretty much what the dozens have been protesting this entire time. Truthfully, I don't trust animancy. I did in my main game, but then I kind of forgot a few quests. One particularly is, well, where we just came from, Crucible Keep, or Knights Crucible, whatever. We had to form those Forge Knights. Well, what ended up having one of the Forge Knights? I'm not sure if they betrayed, but they just went haywire. Just pretty much return back to Lady Webb.
How fares your search?
Ask her, what else do you know
I've
about
told
him?
you everything you need to know. It's
Not
only
everything.
right that you know everything.
I'll go through
And
this
then
in a short way.
I met a man whose mind was a mystery to me. We made a game of my gift. He would ask me about people, and I would tell him what they were thinking. I don't like living in the dark. One day, I disappeared. I have devoted my years, and that is truly everything I can tell you about Theos. I hope you will accept this embarrassing story as a show of my good faith.
Alright, pretty much what happened between her and Thalos is they did have an intimate relationship. She did fall in love with him. No man was ever able to do that before, and they had gone so close. She had grown so close to him. She actually sworn in to Wodica, doing those secret meetings with the Laden Key and so on and forth, until she kind of just felt, I'm not going to do this anymore. I don't like hiding in the dark. So she left him. And she knows that he would kill her for leaving. But he never came.
What of them? Good. Avar Wolf, you need waste no more time here. What of them?
Alright. I don't think that changed my reputation. Yeah, just champion. Okay. Pretty much go to the palace whenever you're ready. I'm not going to be any combat. I mean, there's going to be combat in this quest, but not for us to have to deal with. Just come up here to this little door, and it's just SDR, just a car, whatever. I'll let you know that the balcony's all yours. So, down here, I believe that's one of the knights. That's Lady Dominos, and that's one of the dozens guy. Yep, there, yep. Crucible knights, yeah.
Well then, answer me this, Master Barash. If you Animancers
Oh, yeah.
represent our best hope to
Can't
cure
really
the
see it.
legacy, what progress can you demonstrate?
But I think this guy's from the sanitarium.
As I've said, it isn't about progress.
My house would agree, Your Grace. We see great potential in its future.
And I suppose your blazing profits during the legacy don't have...
So you admit,
I'm just going to go through this because there's a lot of dialogue.
No, we've had many promising experiments. Cadman Azo has shown...
Cadman Azo murdered a child.
The experiment failed, yes, but his work...
Ah, our new delegate from the Knights of the Crucible. What makes you say sabotage?
The fuck's that even matter? These are people...
Indeed. Even assuming there was sabotage, is this Animancer Azo not still accountable here?
Horseshit. These Animancers can't be...
Your Grace, we'd have a much easier time of it if our knights weren't so occupied trying to keep their organization...
Heritage Hill is blood on your hands, Justicia. You turn a blind eye, and look what happens.
You've some strange taste in travels, friend. The height of your tales expands with every breath. Very well. Tell us what... Even if it is as you say, we have testimony that a group of Animancers...
Animancy has many enemies.
You're missing the point. We all know what Widewind's legacy's really about. It's about a bunch of so-called intellectuals.
Is it, though? Should we not take the time to reach it?
My son and daughter are buried beneath the floor of my house.
Enough, Adric. Lady Domenel makes a point. If it's animancy, then why do the other states that permit the practice not suffer the same fate? Who among us can say he truly understands why the legacy has taken hold here?
So let me just kind of we've been going through this, and if you haven't been reading, I'll just tell you what's happened. The public officials are meeting because they're doing what they can to solve Waidwen's legacy as best they can, because Hollowborns are just popping up all over the place. You know, the future generation is at, you know, dire state to dwindling down the future populations. So the leader here, he's hearing out elected officials of the city to see what they have to say, and this Animancer is reporting what they're doing about it. He says they haven't had any solution yet, but they are getting close. The knights here aren't really doing, they don't really have a concern because they're dealing with their own problems, having to deal with the dozens, for example. The Domenels, they're trying to be as supportive as they can to find a solution. They're leaning towards Animancy being, they're putting their faith towards having a cure, and the dozens just outright don't support Animancy whatsoever. So, and you know, of course, the leader here, the Duke, he's just wanting to know what people want so he can make it happen. I mean, it's kind of like a democracy here. I mean, he's like, people, if you want this stuff, okay, that's fine. If you don't want it, I can make that happen too. You just tell me what you want. So, you've got kind of a dysfunctional you've got a dysfunctional congregation here where nobody's really stepping up to bring a solution up until we come into this picture and report our investigations. People hear it, they're like, this can't be true. There's no way this can be true. But you keep telling them the story, and as we move on.
Beasts. Another lunatic at the hearing. Did you remember to lock your sanitarium before you left, Master Barask?
You must know, friend, that the leaden key is a mantle for small-time ruffians and children at play. I'm not saying you're a liar. Not yet. But you'd better start making sense of all this. Help us believe you.
See? They just don't want to listen to the truth. They're being very naive at this point. It's kind of like scientists proving the fact that climate change, no, not climate change. What is it? Damn. It's not climate change, it's, man, I did a college report on that. I can't even think about it. Whatever the pollution's calling all is the chaos and weather right now, but it's pretty much like scientists in the real world proving that it exists, where politicians are like, oh no, it's just climate change. Global warming, that's it. It's like scientists proving global warming exists, but politicians are like, no, it's just climate change.
No self-respecting member of the Dozens is gonna let these Animancers keep casting their black magics in the same I think I can tell my friends from my enemies on my own.
You've made an unexpected case, friend. I'll say that much. It seems we have a new possibility to consider, at the very least. I see. I'm impressed the Knights seized such an unlikely opportunity to find an end to them. But these hearings are about more than Waidwen's legacy, even though that is our most pressing concern. Let's say for the moment that I were to take you at your word that our friends in Brackenbury Sanitarium and their peers bear no responsibility for this curse upon my country. I'm curious, what would you do if you were in my position?
This dude does not know me. All he knows is that I've done a few investigations and found out the Leyden Key's doing all this. He's pretty much putting me to be the decision maker. Dude, you suck, man. You do not know how to lead. This needs to be discussed and worked out. Anyways, this is what I chose before, if you choose this, spoiler alert, if you choose this, well, I'm not sure if it's going to be a spoiler. I do know, because I'm honestly not sure if whichever one you choose, if it's going to result in the same ending or not. But I do know for a fact that if you choose this, the people revolt and kill all the animators. Sanitarium burns down. So I'm not going to choose that one because, again, I do not trust animacy to a full extent. But I am going to do Animators of Direwolf, no. In truth, I'm not completely confident that Animators have done something to do with White One's legacy. It would be wise to ban the practice, at least for now.
Very well. That is all I wish to hear. Not just from you, but from everyone. I want to thank the delegations for helping me collect my... The time has come to choose a direction for the Deerwood.
And this happens. You can only guess
Ramir
who this
de
is gonna
Barash, representing the interests of Animancers in Deerwood. Step forward.
Your Grace.
You can only... Oh, I shouldn't have zoomed in. Okay, it moves. You can only guess what's going to happen next. But that's Dallas right there.
The arguments for
That's his soul.
against Animancy
He just
are
took
both
over that dude's
strong
body.
in their own way. I must be careful in my judgment.
Forgive me, Your Grace. We will accept no judgment but our own.
What's he doing?
What's he doing? He just killed that guy.
No, wait!
There he goes the dozens, killing everybody. There's the knights, killing the dozens. And the Domenels are like, just gonna sit here and chill.
I've given you every chance to end this pursuit. Shall I end it for you? Another time. I am already late.
I'm surprised he ran from that. And he just passed out. I'm just gonna go to sleep.
Shall I end it for you?
I am already at peace, Grand Inquisitor. Are you?
So be it. If you desire no end, you shall have none. I find you guilty of heresy.
And we gotta return to Lady Webb. So there's no guards here. You can finally get this without any problems. Can't loot these bodies. Already got that. Can't go back in there because it's locked. That person's panicking.
Greetings.
You can still talk to her. Like she knows nothing happened. But this is where it gets interesting. You would think that that little incident was only going to occur in just that meeting. Unfortunately, it's not. This once beautiful city is taking a turn for the worst. Now you've got your commoners who are about to take down public order. Everything's... Yeah, see, they just... Wait, did they kill the commoners? Okay. Yeah, they killed the commoners. That's right. There's another one where the commoners killed them. Yeah, see, they'll probably kill him right here. No, the commoners are dead. Yeah, okay. Alright. It's not over yet. You think that place was bad, but you get to Brackenbury. I guess if a city's gonna be brought down from within the rich neighborhood. No, wait. I think Heritage Hills was. I'm not sure. But this place was hit pretty hard. That's pretty nice. I didn't see that before. There's the sanitarium. That place is just completely destroyed. There's no fire in here. Which is a good thing. So hopefully everybody's safe. Oh well, ain't that a shame. Everybody's dead. Everybody in here is dead. We will remember them by looting their bodies. Rest in peace. Go upstairs. Go back where Lady Webb was. Maybe she'll tell us what to do next. I mean, seriously, if you don't do this quest like it once, you got to do a lot of backtracking. You know, it just seems like this quest is very long, but doing it like this way I'm doing it, this quest is so short. Alright. All that's left is her soul, or her essence. Reach out for it. There's that brandy she's talking about, wanting to drink when we return.
I was
You came closer than most.
And Dallas was there. And you can only know what's gonna happen.
What's in between?
Did you pull that from my thoughts?
She did that for a reason. She knew he was going to kill her, and with her being a cipher, she pulled out something from within him that lies in Twin Elms, and she said it because she knew that I was going to come back to her and speak to her after the meeting. And reaching out to her soul, she knew that I was going to find something out in case he did something to her.
I've had time to practice.
Ah.
I was saving that for someone.
See? She did that for us.
Pity. You know this is how it has to be.
And he killed her.
Smoke rises above the city walls in billowing plumes that blacken the sky like a storm. Behind the walls, the riots rage on. Known patrons of Animancy are forced into hiding as looters ransack their estates and make off with their possessions. Animancers are torn away from their families and dragged from their homes to be stoned to death in the streets. Word had spread immediately that Duke Avar had been assassinated, and that an Animancer was to blame. The city wasted little time in exacting revenge, and little effort into evaluating guilt. In the center of it all, Brackenbury Sanitarium burned. And down the lane, Hadret House, the last bastion of stability in the Deerwood, had fallen silent. Now safely outside the city gate, your path points eastward to Twin Elms, where Theos is bound, for reasons that remain mysterious as the leaden key itself.
And that completes Act 2. We did get a new ability. I'll show you that in a second. Yeah, I'll say that in a minute. We get Dominion of the Sleepers, +2 to pretty much everything. 1 per rest. Alright, so that's going to complete the Hermit of Hadret House and begins Assassins at Large. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. That was very interesting quest.